RedShark IBC 2023 coverage is sponsored by.
Hi, this is Dave Shapton. We're at IBC 2023. I'm delighted to have Paul Saccone from Adobe with me, and we're just going to have a chat about some of the technology directions that the whole suite of applications is moving. We don't often get this opportunity to talk with someone who is so central to the whole operation. So thanks for joining us.
My pleasure, Dave.
Yeah, and I just want to talk about the sort of, I mean, everybody's familiar with Adobe,
Right.
And Creative Cloud and the main applications. But I mean, how would you identify the main trends in the last few years? What have the big changes been? And let's look at where they might be needed.
Yeah, I think it's a great question. You know, Adobe has been leading in AI for years and years. Before it was as popular as it is today. Of course, we have Adobe Sensei, which powers a lot of the features in Photoshop and Illustrator and Premiere and all of our other solutions. And then this year we have introduced Firefly, which is our generative AI technology that is now being implemented inside of Photoshop, as well as the Firefly website and Express. And we just see so much opportunity for AI to help creators create better content or create more content.
So I guess it started out in life as a kind of problem solver, you know, where you wanted to change the aspect ratio of something and fill in something that wasn't there. I suppose if you had to define one of the things that generative AI can do, it's to create stuff that wasn't there before. And that always used to be impossible. So in a way, that's a demarcation between old tech and new tech. The new tech can put stuff in that has never existed, but do it in a credible way.
Yep, exactly. You know, we have things like generative fill, in which you see in Photoshop, which is powered by Firefly, of course, which will allow you to, you know, extend images and add, you know, backgrounds. You can replace people or replace objects in a scene. And all of that stuff is now, you know, starting to migrate its way to video. And we have a vision piece on our website, if you go to the Firefly website, where you could see sort of our vision for video in the future and how AI might help video creators make more content. I think the real important driving thing for me with our customers when we talk to them is they want AI that's going to help them work faster, that's going to help take the tedium out of some of the things that they do every day. And, you know, when we look at the work of a video editor, you know, you got to get footage in, and then you got to organize that footage and arrange it on the timeline to tell a story. And the hardest part of that is actually finding the best shots, right? So imagine what we could do if AI could help us identify all the shots with Dave, or all the shots with Paul, or all the medium shots, or the close-up shots. We've now got speech to text and text-based editing, which can actually analyze what I'm saying and create a transcript. And then we can just cut and paste sentences to create a rough cut.
Yeah.
So, you know, you start to look at how these technologies can be combined, and you think, well, if I have a script or if I have multiple cameras shooting, you know, it can figure out which lines were set in which order, and it maybe constructs a rough cut for me or helps me get started by identifying, you know, the best takes or the best clips so that I can spend more time crafting a story and less time searching and sifting through media.
So in a sense, it's about productivity.
Yeah.
Yeah, dealing with the tedious stuff that you wish you didn't have to do, so you can do the stuff that you wish you could do if you didn't have to do the other stuff.
Exactly. Yeah. And then there's also some really great creative use cases. So at the show here, we've introduced enhanced speech for Adobe Premiere, which is based on some AI tech we built for podcast.adobe.com, which is basically it analyzes the audio. Like, we're in a very noisy trade show environment right now. It analyzes the audio, it'll reduce the background noise and isolate the dialogue so it sounds like we recorded it at a studio, right? So there's the generative parts of AI, which is help me make something like a rough cut from nothing. And then there's the assistant part of AI, which is help me do something that's really hard and it's going to give me a better end result.
Yeah, because it used to be the case that, you know, for example, you couldn't unmix a mix.
Right.
And you know, removing background noise, and I guess eventually we'll be able to actually replace words with other words. You know, this is in the future, but this is the way it's going. So it's as transformative in audio as it is
Yeah,
the video.
it's very transformative in audio and video. And, you used the word unmixed, and I think that's a really great word. Imagine if we were here, there's crowd noise and there's music and there's our dialogue back and forth. Like if I could mix the levels of each of those independently without having to have three sources, that's amazing.
Yeah, there used to be an axiom which is, mixing is always additive.
Yeah.
But not anymore.
Right.
So I guess that it's always like AI works in a different dimension. It works in a different universe.
Yeah.
It's always been the case that you could do AI on still images before video. And you kind of think, well, if they could just do it fast enough, they could do it on video as well. But with video, there are kind of special issues, which is particularly continuity between the frames.
Yeah. It's coherence and continuity. It's all very important. And, as AI evolves and we train models, it gets better and better at this stuff, right? I think we're just at the very beginning of what's going to be a really exciting period.
If you, with a conventional, generative models, if you try to do a video, it's like each frame was painted by a different artist because there's no sense of temporal continuity. I guess that's just another axis. It's just another dimension in the matrix.
Yeah, and I think that's going to be one of the big unlocks in coming years as we all get better and better with AI and we train our models. We're going to really be able to get that temporal coherency to do things that were either really difficult or even unimaginable in the past.
Do you think there'll ever be like an AI codec?
An AI codec? What do you mean by that?
Well, an AI codec where instead of, conventional codec, AI assesses an image, compresses it into, a limited number of dimensions, and then you can uncompress it as well, but not based on pixels and the relationship between them, but on, the nature of the image, the essence of the image.
So maybe it says, hey, there's a background, and I would compress that differently than I would compress you or me, right?
Yeah.
It's really interesting. I'm sure there are applications that we've yet to even dream up.
That's for the future, isn't it? But so what do you think are the main trends? If I don't want you to give away any commercial secrets, but if I said, right, what are you getting ready for now? Because it's going to happen in the future. A difficult question.
That's a difficult question. One of the things that we've been very careful with is things like content intelligence, content authenticity. So when I say content intelligence, that's being able to recognize the objects or the people or the things in a scene, right? Content authenticity is, is this AI generated? Is this something that was shot? Making sure that people know. We're really training our models to make it all commercially viable, to make it all very ethical, because there's a whole host of...
So you own a lot of training material in your stock libraries already. So I guess if you already have permission to use that, and you already have access to the contributors to that, you could close the loop and say, right, all the stuff we generate has originated from the stuff we own already.
Right, and that is the case with the current Firefly models that we're using. It's trained on our own Adobe stock images, on public domain images, basically stuff that's free and clear, so that if you go and use it, it's commercially safe, right?
Yeah, I think artists will appreciate that.
And there's even a world in which artists can train models to express themselves. So maybe you have a specific style and you want to train the model. So how do I make more of my stuff in my own style? And maybe I want to resell that and say, now anybody can paint like Paul, right?
Yeah. But you have to contribute.
Right.
Yeah, that's be a backwards channel, yeah. Okay. Oh, that's absolutely amazing. Really appreciate it. Great chat.
My pleasure. Thank you.
Thank you.